So today we visited Cibola County and McKinley County, and we were able to observe how two different government agencies were handling the situation going on in the nation. So let's listen in.
Thank you for watching the Fire and Police YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button below.
So first up, we wanted to visit with the mayor of Gallup, but he was unavailable. But we were able to talk to the city manager, Marianne Ustick. So obviously we're here in Gallup today because obviously you guys have gotten some national attention.
Yes, we have. I've had texts from friends all over the country as a result of that.
Exactly. And it seems like you guys are in a exclusive club, per se, where...
An extraordinary situation.
Exactly. You're the only city in the state right now that seems to be shut down. And
yes.
Where did that order come from?
Well, what happened was, and we had a change of mayors actually during this crisis too. The previous mayor, Jackie McKinney, issued a request to the state for an emergency order to basically lock down the city because our cases are still surging, and the proportion and the percentage of cases in our McKinley County are the highest in the state, and it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse. And so he asked the governor to intervene, and it's actually done under, which is a strange name, the Riot Control Act, and it's kind of designed for riots and physical emergencies, floods, and those kinds of things, but it can be used for this, and it gives the governor authority to issue a lockdown or take whatever means necessary to address the crisis for 3 days. And so that happened, and then the new mayor came in on Friday, and he kind of reiterated the request, and then over the weekend, the new mayor, Mayor Bonaguidi, actually issued a request for an extension. So it expires at noon today, the 3 days, because she can do this for 3 days, and it will be renewed for 3 more days through Thursday at noon.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about that. So originally it was supposed to expire today at noon.
Yes, today at noon. I should have mentioned that, under the Riot Control Act, which again is really designed for short-term events. And so it's limited to 3 days to take this emergency action, but it can be extended.
So originally it was set for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
To be
No, actually it was
Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, it was actually started Friday at noon, so it expires today, Monday at noon.
Okay, but then that got extended by
Yes,
the
it
governor's
did.
office.
Yesterday. Yes, the mayor came in yesterday, and we crafted a letter for him requesting an extension. It was sent in yesterday, and then the governor's order to extend was issued yesterday. The press release went out about 6.
Okay, so you guys actually are the ones that requested the extension.
Yes, that's the way it works. We, the local authority, in this case the mayor, is the one that has to request this from the governor.
So what was the driving force behind the mayor deciding that it needed to be extended past the 3 days?
Well, just the issue that the number of cases that in McKinley County, it kind of started off slow, and we track them, every day, just like the public health department does for the state, and they really were increasing dramatically. And we had a very high number of cases on Wednesday, continued on Thursday, and nothing seemed to be working. The curfews that we had in place, the city had banned the sale of alcohol at convenience stores. We were doing a number of things, and it wasn't working. Our local Gallup Indian Medical Center hospital is full. RMCH, our other hospital, is full. I mean, we were at crisis stage, and what we were doing wasn't working.
So why is it, do you think, that McKinley County just became such a
hot spot? Yeah, hot spot. I prefer hot spot. Yeah. I've been asked that, and it's kind of, the situation is that Gallup is a commercial hub for the surrounding areas. For ranches, the Navajo Nation, which is the largest Native American reservation in the country, the Zuni Pueblo, there's a number, and we have lots of people that live in the county, and they all come here to shop. And so what happens is you have, just by the nature of us being a hub, we have people coming in from outside the city all the time, but especially around the first of the month when people get their income, their paychecks. And we're a city of 22,000 approximately, and you can get 80 to 100,000 people all here in the same weekend. So you just have this massive amount. Even though mass gatherings aren't allowed, you can't control that because everybody's in the parking lots, they're in the stores. And so The restrictions that the governor put in place helped, of course, but they weren't stringent enough to take care of this major problem that we have, particularly around the first of the month, which was Friday.
So, on that note, have you got any feedback from local business owners telling you guys, hey, this is really messing us up? We actually stopped at a 66 diner or something, had a breakfast burrito.
Did you get feedback?
And he actually agreed with you guys.
Yeah.
That it's too soon to open things up. So
I would say, we've been getting massive amounts of phone calls because this was done it was done suddenly. It was something the governor decided to do, and we didn't want to get too much advance notice because then people would have come in earlier. So most of the calls and issues that we've had are people that didn't know and confused and weren't sure and asked for exceptions. We have not gotten a lot of complaints from businesses, and I know our chamber director is very supportive, understands the crisis, and knows something different needed to be done. So, and he's done a really good job of getting the word out to the businesses. So I would say generally, other than just asking questions, they've been very supportive, and we really appreciate that. And one other thing I wanted to mention, the governor also put in a curfew from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. the first 3 days, and there was a lot of confusion and issues with that because the businesses that could do takeout had to close at 5. And we had some issues with employees not being able to get food. And so we asked them to change the curfew to 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting today at noon, and they are going to do that. And I think that will make it easier on some of our businesses to provide much needed food for our essential workers.
So can you tell me what are the actual rules for entering Gallup right now, as far as people that get off the exit and just want to get gas or refill their snacks?
It's pretty straightforward. All the roads leading into Gallup, the ones that have the checkpoints, are closed. And the only people that are being let in are people who live in the city that can prove it, and essential workers. So anyone that is working in the city that's coming from the outside. And we issued letters to all of our employees, but if they have an ID or whatever, then they're going to let them in. The only other exception that we asked for and is being granted is for medical. So if someone has a doctor appointment, they're sick, whatever, they can get to the hospital, which is critical. Everything else has been challenging because people have asked for exceptions and the order doesn't provide for any.
We heard from one of the local business people that there's a triage center set up at the local high school, I guess.
An alternative care facility. Right, okay. Yeah. It's what they call it is a step-down hospital.
So what's going on there exactly? What is that?
So that was opened up and to help take the pressure off of hospitals that were filling up due to the COVID virus. And so the way that it works, as I understand it, and we have phone calls regularly with our doctors in the hospitals here, so is that people who are not as sick but are still in the hospital can be moved to that facility, but they're not ready to be released, but they can be moved to the facility a step down, so to speak, so that the hospital can take ICU patients and people that are really sick. What's happened is it's not that full, and so I know the doctors at the 2 hospitals here are talking to the facility and seeing if they can take other patients, not just the ones that are being, quote, stepped down, because they're slammed. I mean, they're just full. I know the GIMC, Gallup Indian Medical Center, is taking patients that are getting sick very quickly, intubating them, and sending them to Albuquerque so they can just make room in their beds.
And that's what I was going to ask. So at what point do you know, if you know, do people get sent from here to Albuquerque? Is there a certain level that you say, no, we can't handle this?
Once they're intubated now, they're sending them to Albuquerque just because they don't have enough beds for people coming in and getting sick. Okay. In fact, I talked to one of the doctors there on Friday, and she said that she's never seen people get so seriously ill so fast, so they just have to make room. So now the procedure is they intubate and they send to Albuquerque.
So obviously you guys are set to open back up Thursday at noon, from what I understand.
That's the plan.
What's your opinion on it going any further than that? When do you think things should go back to normal?
You know, that is a really good question. I think we're just going to kind of watch and evaluate. We get the positive case numbers every day, And they started to go down over the weekend, but that's probably, those are tests from a couple of days ago. So we really need to see what effect this is having. Could it be extended another 3 days? It could. But then people really do need to get their essential groceries and medical and those kinds of things. So it's going to be a tough decision. And it's not mine to make. I mean, ultimately, the mayor will have to decide whether or not he wants to request another extension. But we need to look at the data to see whether or not it's worked.
Saying because of that, I mean, you guys have the big box stores here.
We do.
Gallup. You got the Walmart, the
Home Depot, right.
And so a lot of people want to go to those stores.
Right.
So their next best option is to go to Farmington, I guess, is from what I understand, which is another hour and a half away.
Yes.
So I guess it is kind of putting a strain on people for that reason. So I'm sure they're excited to get you guys back open.
It is, and we certainly understand that. But as I say, I was just on a phone call with a representative of the Navajo Nation, and they understand how serious this is, and they want to solve this problem too. So they're working with us to try to get the information out to their residents, why we're doing this and how important it is. And we really appreciate that. But at some point it does have to end, but it'll be based on the data.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching the Fire and Police YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button below.
Obviously, there's a pandemic thing going on. What's your opinion about it all?
I think it's madness, okay? We're gonna close down the country. We're gonna kill the entire economy over a bug. So many people are gonna die from this, and that's sad. Every life is precious, but still, we can't just shut down the country. And we cannot abuse the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's all they're doing. There is nothing that circumvents the Constitution of America. That's what makes us this republic that we are. Everybody says democracy. We're a democratic republic. That's what they don't get. And the people that set this up were geniuses. Okay, they had the hand of God, the divine intervention of God to come up with the idea of this great nation of ours. And we got a bunch of idiots running it right now, okay, period. And the very First Amendment says you cannot pass any law that abridges or takes away from the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's what they're doing to us. They're telling you you're on house arrest, so you've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. I ain't staying home. I've done nothing wrong. If you're uncomfortable going into a place, you got free will, don't go into it. You know, there's neighbors in Albuquerque I won't drive into because I'm uncomfortable, so I don't go in them. I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's just basic economics, it's basic life. How come they didn't lock it down like this on the H1N1? How come they didn't lock it down like this on the SARS or the MERS or the Ebola or any of the other ones? You know, the swine flu, that's the H1N1. It's stupid. But all of a sudden, and here's what I think it is, because Donald Trump's the president, the economy was rolling, and they came out with this beautiful plan to shut it all down. Okay, here in my town, in this community, her ETA, that Energy Transition Act that she passed, that all of my legislators voted for, why I'll never know, that killed 300 jobs in my town between January and March. Then she comes out with this stuff, we're done, we're dying. Our revenues are down by 30% right now. What are we gonna do? All of a sudden, I'm gonna be laying off people here? I've come up with a layoff ban already. I mean, it's idiotic what we're doing here. We need to stop this. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. She's violating all 5 of those. Plus the state constitution says in order for her to declare an emergency, you gotta call the legislature back into session. This has never happened. How big of an emergency is it? Okay, and here's a great one for you. They're trying to shut me up. Okay, they wanna shut me down. I've got a writ of habeas mandamus, which means you gotta shut up. Well, that's not gonna happen, okay? I have to answer this by Wednesday in the Supreme Court. I have yet to even receive a citation in the city of Grants. So what am I answering for? I've done nothing wrong. But yet I have to answer, you know, and it's amazing because in this writ, it's even got stuff from Facebook on it. That's total lies. It's a joke. But they're coming after me. Why? Because I'm voicing my opinion against this governor. And here's what's really killing me. She shut down our county and kept us in line with San Juan and McKinley because we border McKinley County. Okay, we got 62 cases right now in our entire county. And most of them are on the outlying areas. Like I said, we already had it here in the town. It's probably already spread through the whole town. Who knows? okay? But it was right down there at Diamond G. They closed for 10 days, they're back open. They can do it, everybody else can do it. But it's funny because the other day I was talking and I said, why can Walmart sell sporting goods? Why can they sell electronics? Why can they sell clothing? But clothing stores can't, electronic stores can't. Well, the next day, Walmart's blocking off the clothing section, the electronic section, the sporting goods section. Come on, Governor.
So who's the one that shut down all the clothing sections and all that?
God, the governor did, from what I heard, because they were open until I opened my mouth. And the minute I opened my mouth, and it's just amazing. Everybody else gets to open their golf courses. And everybody knows the flu dies in April. Well, we're into May now. We're hitting 80, 90 degrees, nice sunshine. What's better to kill a virus than that? Sunshine and heat. But they want you to lock down in place. What she's doing to those natives in Gallup is ridiculous. She's got them on a lockdown like if they were the Japanese in internment camps back in World War II. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's lock them all down on the res. Why? Because they're natives? What's the reasoning there? When they should be outside getting fresh air and killing that bug. Because that's what kills it. Period.
How long have you been the mayor here?
I'm on my 6th year now. I'm on my 2nd term.
So you're on your 2nd term?
Yeah.
And when you were elected, obviously, these people obviously elected you because they have the same values as you. They believed in what you believe in.
I would hope so. I mean, and now I've been getting some hate mail, that if someone dies, you're going to be personally responsible. And they sure are giving a small town mayor a lot of credit, huh? Only God decides who's going to live and die, not small town mayors like me. Okay, I ain't got nothing. I didn't bring the COVID here. The way the COVID came to Grants, our very first case was brought to us by the Navajo Nation. And I mean, it doesn't matter where it came from. It's going to take its course. Whether it came from the Navajo Nation or somebody brought it to us on a flight from Australia, okay? But the first case we know of was brought to us by the Navajo Nation. They're our neighbors, okay? I've got personal great friends that are Navajos. I don't hold that against them. I think what they're doing to them is absolutely ridiculous. And mark my words, herd immunity. That's when you can't get sick no more. The only people that are going to have herd immunity are the indigenous tribes because they've locked them down and they've made them spread it amongst themselves. The reason New York is so bad, they live like rats. Okay? I mean, come on, guys. My county is bigger than the state of Philadelphia, bigger than the state of Pennsylvania. How many people are in Philadelphia alone? We got 26,000 here. You could put one person every mile. Come on, man. What she's doing to us is against the Constitution of the United States of America. It's against the New Mexico Constitution. And our problem is we got a super majority up there of a bunch of progressive socialists because they're not Democrats. They claim to be Democrats, but they're not. They stole our party. They're nothing but socialists, stone cold socialists. And her and Hector Balderas are the leaders of that.
So, do you identify yourself as a Democrat?
Now, well, I'm still a registered Democrat, but I ain't one of them. I'll guarantee you that. And I'm not sure how much longer I can stay and live this lie. Okay? The Democratic Party was about a working man. The Democratic Party was not about the illegal alien. Okay? And if you look at Vernon Jones, he's a Democrat, a black Democrat from Georgia. What he said Friday says it all. He says, me, as a black man, it's hard for me to admit this, but the Democratic Party does not care about us. They are putting illegals first and Americans last. And that's a guy from North Carolina. He's not even down here on the border like us, okay? Wow. That explains a lot, don't it? It's just amazing what they're doing to us. And I'm not sure if this is a prelude to their move to all socialism, but the only reason to shut this economy down is because we were humming, and Donald Trump is the one that had us humming. And now they shut us down. The House of Representatives won't even come back to work. Really, guys? But it's okay to go to work at Walmart. You're going to die, you go to work any place else. But it's okay, you go to work at Walmart. If you're a first responder, a firefighter, you're going to be fine. Cop, you're going to be fine, go to work. But oh no, if you ain't one of those, don't go to work, you're going to die. How much bull is that? It's total bull.
What would you say the status of the economy here in Grants is right now?
Way down.
Okay.
You know, in our grocery stores, we're supporting 2 towns now. We're supporting us in Gallup, okay? Because every Friday when Gallup goes into lockdown, there's a max exodus out of that place, okay? And nobody wants to admit that. But if you were here Friday, you would have seen it. I went to work out at the mine Friday night, And between little itty bitty village of San Mateo, maybe 20 to 30 families, I passed 20 to 30 cars going to that mine out there. And they were all coming from the res, from Haystack, from Hot Spa, from Sheep Springs. They were all coming through the back roads. And they know the back roads better than anybody, okay? I mean, come on. And you're gonna lock them. Now the white man been trying to lock them guys down for 250 years. She thinks she's gonna do it in 3 days? It's idiotic. This is America. We are free. It's illegal to do this to us. She cannot do this to us. Those guys haven't committed a crime. Why are they on lockdown? Why does she have the riot act in place in Gallup? There's no rioting going on. It's against the law. It needs to stop. The people need to stand up and stop this before we lose our damn country.
So what's the status of business in Grants right now? Are you open for business? Is
A
it
lot
up
of
to
us
them?
are. A lot of the businesses are. Some of them have refused because they're afraid. They're scared. And I mean, if you would have been here the other day when the state police came and served me Hector's letter, 3 of them, to serve one old man a letter, okay? And all I could think of was that one cartoon when I was a kid. Sign the papers, old man. That's all I could think about, you know? 3 state cops. 3 cops to serve one old man a piece of paper. That's 2 cops that could have been on the freeway busting druggies or whatever, okay? And one of them could have dropped by here, I'd have signed the paper and went on his way. But I mean 3 of them, and then the very next day, they send 3 servers to come and serve me this writ of mandamus, where I haven't even received a citation. I have received nothing. But I'm already being ordered to the Supreme Court to answer to them. There's something wrong with this, guys.
So you mentioned some people are still are afraid to open. Is it because they're afraid of the governor? Or the
They're
police,
afraid
or
of the state
catching the
police.
virus?
They're afraid of the state police, okay? And if you look around, some places are open. You look around and some places are open, okay? Some of them won't open because they're scared. They're not afraid of the virus. We've already got it here. It's already in our town. We know that. But and I'll tell you what really blows my mind is these people that are saying, you're going to be responsible, Mayor, for anybody that gets it. I didn't bring it here. This is God's plan. It's not Mayor Hicks's plan. If it was my plan, we'd be doing a lot different, okay? But it's not my plan. This is God's plan. It's all part of his grand scheme. You know, and I've had a lot of people tell me, I hope you get it and die. Well, if I do, guess what? That's God's will. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to live cowering in my house worrying about dying, okay? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to live free on my feet as an American. Once you realize that your life is finite, you know, my mom is 87 years old. And she told me, you go, son. This is about our republic. It's about our country. They're taking away our liberties, and we're standing by and saying, it's okay because I might die. Everybody that joins the military knows they might die defending this great country of ours. And all the ones that sit back here and have never served, they're a bunch of spoiled, rotten Americans that want their free handout from the government. It don't work that way. Get your butt to work.
So if you have a simple message to the residents of Grants, what are you going to tell them?
I'm going to tell them to use their own common sense. If you're not comfortable going in someplace, don't go in it. If you are, have at it. If the restaurant's open and you're not comfortable going in there to eat, don't go in it. But if you are, go and get something to eat. Me, I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to do it. I didn't do it as a Marine when I was overseas. I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to live my life as a free American. And Michelle Lujan Grissom and Hector Balderas can kiss my butt because we're not playing this game with them. They're not going to take away my rights like that.
That was my next question. What would be your message to the governor? And
that's it. I'm not giving up my rights. Not only no, hell no. Period.
And do you plan on showing up to court? I mean, we taught you there's a writ.
There's a writ. I have to answer it.
Or a citation or anything?
No,
like that?
I haven't got no citation or nothing. I got this writ that I have to answer in the court. So I've got a couple of constitutional lawyers looking at it, and we're going to write a response, and I'm going to get it back to them on Wednesday.
So there isn't an actual court date or anything attached to it?
No, it's just, it's where they want me to shut up. Okay. That's all it is. It's the governor.
Cease and desist.
Yes, they're telling me, you better fall in line. You're a Democrat. Well, I'm a free-loving American first. And I served this nation for 4 years. I've earned my rights, okay? Unlike the governor, unlike Hector, that all they did is go to some liberal college and get a degree and start manipulating the people to get where they're at. Because that's all this is, a big manipulation. And sure, it's a pandemic. People are going to die, just like they did with the swine flu, just like they have with everything else. Did you realize in World War II we lost more people over there fighting in World War I, rather, not World War II. In World War I, we lost more people to the Spanish flu than we did actually fighting in combat.
Yeah.
People don't even know that. I didn't know it till I started looking at the numbers of how many people died so these people could breathe their free air. Okay? Not the number of people that served, just the people that died. 2 million and some have died so that they can all breathe their free air and demand their free government check. It's a joke, it's a bad joke, and it's going to kill this country if we don't stop it.
So the big cities like Albuquerque that are shutting down, are they making the right decision or are they off?
They're off. They're off. I mean, Albuquerque's shutting down. Why? They got permission to open. We're over here dying on the vine. We're ready to chip up the sidewalks and close the roads because of what she's done to us. First with the Energy Transition Act and now with this pandemic. She's killing this town, period. And that's her plan. But you know what really blows me away is the silence from the state legislature, okay? From my senators, from my representatives, especially the ones that are veterans. They all took the same oath I did, but they're sitting there silent. You hear nothing from them. Crickets. Why? Why are you afraid to stand up to this tyrant that's taking away our liberties? And you're allowing it because somebody's gonna die. Hell, people are dying overseas every day for us. Every day, and have been for years. But you don't hear nothing about that. You don't hear no concern for the firefighters. Oh, thank your firefighters and thank your police officers. You bet you. Well, how about giving them some money for what the heck they're doing? Okay?
Like a hazard pay? You mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is insane. You know, instead, she's over there. She grew the government by 20% in her first 2 years in office. Okay? And now the bottoms fell out of the academy. What's she going to do with all them employees she hired? I'll bet you she starts cutting corrections officers and letting inmates out. I'll bet you that's what she starts doing. Something along those lines. Instead of saving that money for a rainy day like we have right now, you know, you look out on the res, and I've lived here my whole life. Okay, I grew up playing baseball on the res. There's homes out there that still don't have no water. They don't have no electricity. They bring water in. They heat it. They use it to eat. They don't wash very much because that water is their life. Why don't we work on getting them some water and some electricity where they can clean up?
So the Gallup city manager, the mayor wouldn't talk to us, but the Gallup city manager did bring that up, that a lot of the reservations, they depend on the water from
Yes!
Gallup. But right now they can't get their water.
And they're hauling it back to
Yeah.
the rest. They don't have running water where they can go in there, turn on the sink, and wash their hands like the rest of us. Come on, what is the governor doing? Oh, let's go ahead and expand this program and expand that program, but let's not give the Indians anything. Let's not give the Navajo Nation anything. I don't know, I think they need water, don't you? I think they need electricity. I think they should be allowed to live free like everybody else, not locked down on the res because there's a pandemic. Certain amount of people are going to die from this, and that is sad, but I'm not killing them. And opening my town is not going to kill them. And it's time to open up the state, period. You know, I got a nephew. He's a highway patrolman in Arizona, and he told me this. I just spoke to him yesterday. They refitted old hospitals, resurrected them, trillions of dollars, 2 of them. They changed a event center into a hospital. You know how many COVID patients they got in there?
Less than 10. 0.
0. Okay, and this is coming right out of a state police officer's mouth that would know. 0. Look at Albuquerque. How many, guys? They did all these preparations. New York never even ran over their hospital. They got more death than the rest of the nation combined. And they have yet to run over a hospital in New York. They sent the Mercy ship out of there because they didn't have nobody on it.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on, how bad really is this? Sure, it's killing some people. I get that. So did the swine flu.
So does the regular flu.
Yes. So does car accidents. I mean, wow, car accidents kill more than all of them. There's more people have died from cancer this year. We don't see them shutting down the country over that, do we?
The numbers aren't adding up.
I mean, the suicides. There's more suicides than that. You don't see them shutting down the country over that. I don't know. It's just, for me, the cause cannot be, the cure can't be worse than the cause. Because, and that's what we got right now. We are killing our country, period. The entire country over this. And why is it that South Dakota, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all these states didn't close down? They didn't do nothing. Their COVID's no worse than ours. They didn't do anything that we did. So what's the real deal here? They're lying to us. That's what I think. And because the numbers aren't jiving. It's not coming out. And everybody, oh my God, CNN says, come on, guys. There's fake stuff on the news every single day. They're hammering us with fake stuff. I mean, all you gotta do is look at the Robert Mueller probe and everything they've done to Don Trump. Look what they did to General Kelly. It's all bull. Why? To change us into a socialist nation. And if we're not careful, we're gonna end up in another revolution. That's it. Another civil war. Because of what these idiots are doing. Like I said, our country was established by geniuses and by the hand of God. We should have never beat the British. Never. Only by God's hand did we do that. And now we got a bunch of idiots trying to destroy a nation that was just brought to us by the divine hand of God. It's insane.
Well, we're going to end it on that. I wanted to thank you for your service, obviously,
No problem.
to your country and to the
You guys
to
would
the
be
city.
amazed. Okay, I worked for Ollie when I was in the Corps. I was one of his special operators.
Oh wow.
Okay, and all of the guys on my team.
Talking
Look at
about
this.
Oliver North.
Look at this. Yes, sir. I get freaking goosebumps. My phone's been ringing off the hook, and all they keep telling me is when, and what do we need to bring. And these are jarheads. These are stone cold, jump out of airplanes into hostile ground.
You ready to go?
Fucking jarheads. You know what I mean?
Patriots, man. Ready to
And
go.
they're telling me, don't you dare stop my son. I got two. I got a son that's in the Navy. I got a son that's in the Marine Corps. And both of them are telling me the same thing. Dad, you're right. Don't you back down. I got a son-in-law in Okinawa with my daughter. He's a lieutenant in the Marine Corps. They all say the same thing. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. They cannot change it. And that's what our governor's doing to us, and it's wrong.
Thank you for watching the Fire and Police YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button below.